So welcome everybody to this month's Graphic Arts Alliance webinar. We're really happy to be here with Peak Precisions. Peak Precisions is our new logistics company that is going to be offering services to all of our members for LTL, for small parcel shipping, UPS, FedEx. And we have two folks from the Peak Precisions team here with us today. We have John Hudson and we have Mike. Um, both of them have been with Peak Precisions for a number of years. John Hudson is the owner of Peak Precisions, and they're going to give a bit of a tutorial on how to use their service. We're going to talk a little bit about the shipping industry. And what we'll do, as usual, per all of our webinars, we're going to hold the questions till the end, but you can put them in the chat or raise your hand. Please, as you're coming in, just be sure that you keep your microphone muted so we can avoid any background noise. So without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to John and Mike, and take it away, folks.
Well, thank you, Wendy, and hi, everybody. My name is John Hudson, as Wendy mentioned. I'm the owner and CEO of Peak Precision Solutions. So I want to leave you guys with what, if you get one thing out of this, is we want to be your freight experts. So we're going to talk about LTL and parcel here, but feel free to call Mike and I at any time for anything freight related, just to bounce ideas off of us, because we can help you with pretty much everything. So I have 35 years experience in logistics. Mike has probably 36. I think you're older than me. Mike has 36 years experience. So Mike and I have worked together for 20 years. He is my VP of Client Solutions. Prior to Mike working for me, he worked for UPS for 15 years. So anything parcel, Mike is the guy. So what I want to do is I want to describe the program we have set up for GAA and go through a couple different demos for you, both on the LTL side as well as the parcel. So we have, think of it as three different programs. It's all one program, but three different sections. So one is LTL shipping, which is traditional LTL, palletized freight. We have very deep discounts with 93 different LTL carriers set up for GAA. The second is parcel rebill. So we have parcel rates that we have with both FedEx and UPS that you could tap into instantly, set up for GAA. And then for the larger parcel shippers, let's say you ship, I'll call it over $150,000 a year in parcel, up to $10 million. We can help you renegotiate your parcel contract as a consulting service. And we typically find about 20 to 25% savings when we negotiate those parcel contracts. So I just want to kind of think about it in those three sections. So what I'm going to demo today is two different systems. One is the LTL system. So I believe you guys can all see my dashboard here. Okay, so the dashboard.
Yep.
Okay, perfect. So this is the dashboard. So you're going to get, everybody that signs up is going to get their own customized login from here. You're going to have your dashboard. So if you look, this is a demo site, so there's no information in here, but I just want to show you how it works. So anything you ship, no matter what carrier you ship with, is going to be here in the tracking. And this is just your dashboard. These are all the invoices we have open. If there are any freight claims, we'll handle the freight claims on your behalf. Okay. And then any analytics you want to do. You can preload all your customer addresses in here, all your supplier addresses in here, any inventory you have, your products, just to make it easier. So what I'm going to show you is how to run a quote. So I preloaded some fictitious customers in here just to show you what it looks like, so I don't have to type it. So go to new quote. So this defaults to I created this. This is a printing company out, ABC Printing in Calabasas, California. Okay, it defaults, let's say your ABC Printing, it will default to your address. And we want to go to, let's go to Texas, Quick Printing in Texas. Okay, I preloaded inventory in here, but I could type one pallet, the weight if I wanted to, just to save time. I preloaded something in here. So you got one pallet, 50 boxes, 1,000 pounds. Here are the dimensions of the pallet, class 70, then get a rate. That's simple. So what this is doing now is it's going to all 93 of our carriers, and it's pinging their API. And it's going to pull back rates from all the carriers that will fit this particular shipment. They're probably 20-ish. We'll see what pops up. Maybe a little over 20. 21. Okay. So here are all the carriers that we have loaded in the system for GAA. Obviously, it's from least cost to most expensive. I'm not going to scroll through all 21 and show you, but the best option we have here is DC Logistics. And let me back up. Again, this is totally customizable to you. So I have some customers that say, only show me these 5 carriers. I only want to deal with these 5 carriers. I don't want to deal with all the rest of the carriers. Or you can show all of them, or you can show half of them. You can show however many you want. These are everybody because this is a demo site. But for example, XPO, T-Force, these are the big major carriers. If you only want to see big major carriers, we can make it that way for you guys too. But regardless, you'll be able to see all the rates with the different carriers. Let's say you want to do XPO. Well, here, let me show you this. So it also shows the transit time. So let's say this is shipping to your customer out of California, going to Dallas, and they need it there quick. And you're like, okay, well, DC's 4 days, they're 5 days. Okay, well, the best I'm going to do is 3 days. You got XPO and Go-To Logistics at 3 days. That's the quickest you're going to get there. XPO is a little bit better carrier. I'll pay the extra $5 to use XPO. Again, it's just a decision tool. Totally your choice. You can use whatever you want, but it will tell you exactly what's going on, how quick they're going to get there, what the cost is. When you click XPO, it won't do this because it's a demo site, but you click the select quote, it's going to pull up a confirmation page saying, is all the information correct? Once it's correct, you click submit. It will email or send an API to XPO to come pick up that freight at your facility. So you don't have to make any calls. It's all electronic. And it will also give you a bill of lading for you to download. So all your documentation will be in there too. And I'm going to show you, since we have a little bit of time, let me just do something real quick. I'm going to log in as a different user real quick, show you something. Since that's a demo site, that doesn't have anything in it. So the tracking, this is a smaller customer we have. I just want to show you, you don't compete with them. So I just want to show you kind of what it looks like. So here's the tracking. So if you click on the tracking as you're using all those shipment, as you're using the dashboard, it will show you all the shipments. And there happens to be 8 for this particular customer. Let me pull them up real quick. Let's just go down to, let's do this one at the bottom here. Portland Puzzle. So here's all the information you're going to see when something's populated in your system. This happened to move with UPS freight. Here's all the tracking information. It actually was delivered back on 2/11. And then there's also all the documentations going to be domiciled in this system. So for example, let's say your customer says, well, I don't show record of ever getting that shipment. Well, you can go in here and say, well, here's the signed delivery receipt right here. You could download it. It'll pull up your signed delivery receipt. So all your information, your bills of lading, your POs, anything you want to put in here will all be domiciled in this system across all the carriers. So think of it as a one-stop shop for LTL shipping. Okay. Back to here. So any questions? Oh, we're doing questions at the end. Sorry. Okay, let me go back to this one. Hold on. There's something at the top here blocking me from getting in here. Bear with me. Hold on, guys. I apologize. There's a bar at the top. I can't click on this other thing, Wendy. I don't know. Can you get that off?
You can
Oh,
should
wait,
be
never
able to
mind. It
move
went
the
away. It
bar.
went away.
I
It
was gonna
just
say
went
you can
away.
move the bar too.
Yeah, it went away. Sorry. Sorry about that, guys. Okay, so that was LTL. So let's talk about parcel. Here's our parcel system. Very similar to the LTL system. You have a dashboard that has all your metrics in it. And very similar to how I just showed you on the parcel, you're going to create a shipment in here too. But what this is going to do, obviously, there aren't 93 different parcel carriers. As we all know, there's UPS and FedEx. You have the 2 big guys, right? So this is going to show, it defaults to my facility here. If this was an inbound shipment, you could swap it. It'll be you as the destination, but let's just say it's an outbound shipment. Do an example, 1 package, 30 pounds. And we'll make it, I don't know, 12 by 12 by 12 or by 10. Let's do that. And this is going to, let's go to California. How about that? So what this is doing, it's going to ping our UPS and FedEx rates, and it's going to give you the best options based on least cost, obviously, is ground, all the way up to most expensive. So you see here, our FedEx ground is the cheapest on this particular shipment. 3-day transit, $21. You can do UPS ground for $26. And then on up to most expensive would be, your overnight AM delivery packages. But all these rates are for GAA. These are the rates you actually pay. So there's no extra fee for using this service or these systems. It's all built into it. Those are your rates, and that's what you'll be charged on both the LTL and the parcel. Then if you go back, if you want to go back to the dashboard, everything as I just showed you on the LTL side would be on here too. You could track shipments, you could run all types of cool metrics on here. Yeah, it's very they're both very similar. They're just two different systems. It's easier to keep them separate because they're two different animals, and that's why we have two different systems for this.
Yeah,
So
one comment.
Yeah, go ahead,
One
Mike.
comment if I could, John. Yeah, if
Yeah.
you noticed on that rate shopping page, everybody, there is actually a recent enhancement is the postal service is in there as well. That's why you see that USPS, the Eagle logo. The postal service is attempting to be a UPS and FedEx competitor in the parcel space. So recent enhancement is that postal rates have been added there as well. So just as a FYI, when you do that rate shop.
Yeah, and they're good for the smaller shipments, right, Mike?
Yep, smaller, lighter. Yeah,
So
like in
12
the
pounds.
rate example you did, post office was actually quite a bit more expensive.
Yeah, because it's big.
Heavier packages. Yeah.
Right. So if I made this 12 pound, I want to show them an example. If I made this 12 pounds, is that small enough or even smaller?
I would go 10. I would go 8 to 10 pounds. Yeah.
Okay, let's do 8 pounds. 12 by 12 by 10.
Yeah, that's fair.
Okay. So in this case, you have ground advantage at 15. Still, the FedEx is a little cheaper.
Yep. Yeah, there are some postal options. Yeah, and the lighter you get, the more competitive they're going to be. They're definitely still a 1 to 5 pound option.
Right.
But again, just as a heads up. So just thought I'd.
A good thing to know for everybody on this call too. Our FedEx rates are better than our UPS rates, as you can probably tell. You can see here, the list rate's $24 and our rate's 11. So a 50% discount would be $12.25. So this is equivalent to probably a 54% discount. I'm doing this in my head. I don't have a calculator, but just approximately, right? So you get an idea of how deep the discounts are. This is over a 50% discount for the GAA members. On FedEx, UPS is, I think, a 43, 44-ish, somewhere around there.
Right.
So this works great. These rates are in place right now. You can start using this. Once you sign up on the system, you can start using this instantly. What Mike wants to talk about too are those situations where you may ship, let's say you ship $200,000 a year in either UPS, FedEx, or both UPS and FedEx. So I'll turn that over to Mike and kind of explain what we do in those situations. Because in that situation, you may have better rates than are loaded in the system just due to your volume. So if that's the case, go ahead, Mike.
Yeah. So my name is Mike Blair, VP of Client Solutions here at Peak Precision, and appreciate everybody's time. And Wendy, thanks for setting this up. So the custom rate scenario actually is an addition to this capability, because actually both of them can live together. So if you have like John said, 100, 150, $200,000 in net spend, and these rates aren't usable for you, right? We can do a custom contract negotiation that would be us assisting you in negotiating an agreement that you would own, and you would own the pricing. It's in your company's name. It's 100% you. We just help you, right? Analyze your situation, analyze your costs, etc. That new contract can actually be added into this TMS so that you're getting actually the best of both worlds. Both of those get added together, which is a really cool and very custom scenario. So for those of you that spend, doesn't matter if it's inbound or outbound or drop ship, if you control the spend and it's 100, 150 or north of that, and these TMS rates are not good for you because, as John mentioned, these are very plug and play, ready to go literally today. The custom negotiation takes approximately 30 to 60 days to do, but definitely worth the while if we need to go down that path. And then it would just get added right into this. So this could start today, and then the other could be added in, obviously, when it's completed. So that's pretty much it. Yep, that's pretty much it. I've simplified it.
And just to add to what Mike was saying, so Mike has negotiated well over 700 contracts,
Oh yeah.
or 1,000. And I think the largest was the one when we worked with Cardinal at 650 million. So just to
Right.
give you an idea of my, I don't think anybody hope, I hope some of you guys have 650 million spend with FedEx and UPS. That'd be great. But, so my point is there are no contracts too large for us to at least take a look at and see if we can help you. If you're spending $1 million, $2 million, I know some of the larger printers we're working with, have a $2, $3, $4 million spend with parcel.
Yep. So we are here to help.
Yep.
Fantastic. I'm curious to know with the FedEx, the word on the street that FedEx might be spinning off
The
one of
LTL?
their, yeah. So
Yeah.
I don't know if that, I guess, is FedEx LTL included in this?
Yes.
Or is that,
FedEx on the other system, FedEx LTL is included in
yeah.
there. Yeah.
How do you anticipate that? Is that going to affect any of their parcel or how are you
No.
viewing that spin-off? That
No. So I won't bore you with a bunch of details because I've been in this 35 years. FedEx a while back bought the two best LTL carriers and became in it got into the LTL world. UPS followed suit right after. UPS found out that it wasn't really their thing and got out of it pretty quick, not pretty quick, but it took a few years. And they sold T-Force. So T-Force is the old UPS freight. I've heard for the last few years that FedEx was going to spin off their freight, but from what I hear, it's a very profitable part of their business. Now, it may not fit their business model going forward. I don't know. But regardless, if they spin it off, it will still be the equivalent service of FedEx freight. It'll just be branded something different. Like T-Force is really the old UPS freight, just branded T-Force. So I don't think, so I guess to your point, Wendy, it's not going to affect pricing at all here. It would just be a different brand name. But that's, like I said, I've heard that for a few years now.
is there
Yeah,
anything
I
that
could
you're yeah.
Yeah, Wendy, I apologize. I could add a little consultative suggestion in there. If anybody here on the call has an agreement that has FedEx Freight and FedEx Parcel connected together in the same revenue commitment, we can absolutely help negotiate those apart without losing parcel discount or losing LTL discount. So we know how to unwind those from each other as well. So just a suggestion.
Perfect.
That's a
That's
good point.
fantastic. Yeah. Is there anything that you're seeing that we should keep an eye out for in the logistics shipping side of things? I mean, anything that word on the street, or are you hearing any trends or slowdowns like we had a couple of years ago that could be impacting pricing or deliverability that we should really be aware of and be planning into our schedules with our customers?
I know all the major 3PLs are predicting significant growth Q2 of this year. So I think it will growth. I don't think that's going to affect capacity to a degree that it's going to affect pricing where we should worry about it. It's always a good thing. If you would have asked me in February of 2020 if I've seen it all in logistics, I probably would have said yes, I've seen it all. And obviously I did not see global pandemic. So and everything's been kind of crazy ever since. It's stabilized and it's the new normal. I don't know if it's really normal like it was back in 19, but it's the new normal. Now, what I will say is the carriers, and Mike could probably speak better to this. They used to change their pricing around once a year. Take an annual increase, change the accessorials. Now it seems like they're doing it more often. I see a lot of these carriers doing it every 3 months. So even more reason to have us take a look at your pricing and make sure, because we don't let the carriers do that to us on our LTL pricing. It's very stabilized, where they may just do it to you and you don't even know. It's just they're just adding an accessorial where you don't know. It just gets added to their tariff. So that's a good thing to bring up, Wendy, is they are doing that more often rather than just the first of the year like they used to always do, right? And that's where they get you. I think the number is 43 or 44%, Mike, of all parcel costs is accessorial charges. So think about
Yeah,
that.
it's amazing. It's
It's
yeah.
amazing. It's all those things they ding you with, the fee here, the residential fee, the oversized fee, the whatever it is. That's 43%. If you just take all the parcel in the country, that's 43% of their revenue is from accessorials. Almost half.
Wow.
Yeah,
So
when
this
they
is just the accessorials are just additional fees that they're applying based on, certain criteria.
Whatever. Yeah.
yeah.
And like they could, like my point is they used to change those once a year. Now they just randomly change them throughout the year.
Hmm.
So where you think you're paying $12 for a residential charge and all of a sudden it's 14 or 15, I mean, it's $3, but $3 on a $20 shipment's a big percent, you know, it adds up.
Yeah, absolutely. You ready to take some questions from any members?
Sure.
Okay, does anyone out there have any questions? Feel free to put them in the chat. And just remember, this is a new service. This is available to all Graphic Arts Alliance members. So, for anybody that's already using FedEx or UPS, could they just, if they're not at that threshold where they might be working with you, Mike, could they just conceivably just go into here instead and just start plugging in, even if they're an existing customer with FedEx and UPS, could they come into your portal and start plugging in their packages and shipping through there instead?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah,
great. So this is
absolutely.
an easy transition. You can try it
Right.
out. Try it out with one or two, uh, shipments that you have coming up and kind of play around with it. So, we got a question. Can you talk about the cost of using this service? So I think, John, you mentioned that earlier, but you want to speak to that?
Yeah, there is no direct cost to using this. The cost is just the freight charges we charge you. So we make a percentage on the freight charge. So let's take LTL for example. All those LTL rates that I showed you has our margin built into those rates. So when you see that $200 and $222 shipment, that 220 is what you're paying, period. There is no extra charge for the service for the website and that has our margin built into it. So we're going to bill you most like just like a carrier. So what you see, for example, this $11, you can still see the screen pulled up, you're paying that $11.21 right here. We have margin built into that. We have margin built into this. So I guess I hate saying there's no charge because that's not true, but there's no additional charge for using the service. It's built into the rate.
Right.
Yeah, and
That's great.
to quickly talk about the consultative side. So the consultative side, if we do, let's say somebody's spending $500,000 a year and we do a custom agreement with them, right? So we take their current baseline of data, right? And let's say they're spending that $500,000. We only I guess bill a fee if we save $1, right? So if we save zero, so let's say I do the full analysis and there isn't a penny to be saved, it's basically a free checkup, right? So if we save the $1, that's where there's a split of that savings, right? So it's a savings split. So if we save that $1, it's usually market is typically 50-50 split. But we have a custom agreement with GAA that's specific for you guys. That's even less, right? So it's essentially you take $1 and you're splitting off of the savings. So still technically it's not costing you anything. Our expertise comes in, reduces your expense, and then we just get a little bit of a bite of the new savings created.
And that's over the course of 1 year or 2 years?
3 years.
3 years. Okay.
Yeah.
So great. So just to kind of even simplify what you were saying about the fee structure even more, because Peak Precision has so many customers and they're shipping millions and millions of, dollars worth of through their service, that you're getting such incredible rates with the carriers. But our GAA members have the opportunity to go through their rates. So through their portal, they're already building in the GAA on top of that. So there's a slight markup, just like with anything, there's that slight markup. But even with the markup, there's a very high probability that even with that markup coming through Peak Precision, it's still going to be a much better rate than what you would have just negotiated if you had gone direct to any of these LTL carriers or going direct to UPS or FedEx. So that's kind of what we're looking at. And if you are someone like Mike was saying, if you are someone that has really high volume going through any of these carriers, then Mike comes into play and he can really help you negotiate down to a place that's going to get you better rates and share that savings with all of you. So
let me add one thing. Can I add one thing too? And I just want to going back to my original point, how we want you to think of us as your logistics experts. I know we talked about LTL and parcel, but let me give you a real life example of a printer out, and this happened last week, a printer in Colorado. Printer in Colorado called and said, hey, I have all these parcel shipments. They have to go to these locations that can't accept, so they're 40 or 50 packages at a time that have to go to these locations that can't accept pallets. But I don't want to send them all with UPS and FedEx because it's astronomically expensive. I want to palletize them and ship them freight. What can I do? So we came up with a solution where we picked it all up LTL at their facility, transferred it LTL to a delivering agent in the 50 different cities he was shipping to, take it off the truck, take it off the pallets, and had local white glove carriers go deliver it by package like UPS or FedEx would directly to these, there were tax locations, there was a bunch of tax paperwork, to these tax locations located in strip malls. So he saved, it was like $30,000 or $40,000 in shipping in a 2-week period by us just getting creative. He was going to send it all UPS parcel. So again, just want you to think of us when you come up with these situations like, I don't know how to do this, or it's something outside of the scope we just talked about today, bounce it off us. We can help you. We've been doing this for 35 years. International, whether we can do it or not, we'll point you in the right direction. We'll help you.
Fantastic. Yeah. And so everyone, we do have all of the information for John and Mike is available in your contract summary. If you do not have a copy of that, just reach out to myself or Nika Braceland. We'll definitely get that information over to you. Yeah, if there are any other questions from any of the members, this is, like I said, this is a new relationship, so we're really excited about it. Wanted to make sure we got them in front of you right away so you can start taking advantage of these shipping rates for the year. Is there any other questions, or not sure how things work? You had a question about the shipping trends for the year?
I got one more question, or I guess it's a two-part question here. Within this service, is there like a historical report that you could pull from this that tracks your history for, let's say, a year?
Yes.
And then my second question, and it's a totally different question, but you referenced the accessorial charges. As I'm from a company called PCSI, we really felt that those accessorial charges. So for example, for the residential, what is it going to recognize that? If it's out of area surcharge, is it going to recognize that? And how does it do that? Is that from the, let's say, FedEx API, or is that the UPS API, or is that your own software?
Go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, so the T, and Morgan, that's great things to bring up. So the rate that you get is like what John has up on the screen. That is an all-in rate. So it recognizes that it's going to a residential, it's got the delivery area surcharge, that's out of area charge you're talking about, right? Or a remote charge, fuel included. So this is an all-in rate that you see, right? So yes, it is factoring that in because it's bouncing off of the carrier's live API information. If you know parcel at all, Morgan, it sounds like you do a bit. Those delivery area surcharges change. The zip code that gets a delivery area surcharge today might get extended delivery area surcharge in a month, right? Talking like what John was saying earlier, the carriers are constantly changing things underneath the hood, if you will. This TMS has all of those carriers and that live data being pinged. And so when you get that rate, that is your all-in rate.
Thank you.
question.
Yeah, no, you're very welcome. And I'll throw out there, Wendy, also, and I know John would fully support this, that, you know, the questions are also going to come when we shut this all off, right? And somebody, oh, you know what, I should have, or now that I'm thinking about. So by all means, we are 100% at your service to answer questions. And again, if we don't have a direct solution, we certainly can point you in the right direction of who you should be speaking with, regardless of freight, ocean, full truck, you know, you name it, all the different freight modes, and then of course parcel and LTL, et cetera. Peak Precision's here to serve. We're here to help.
Excellent. Great. Any other questions out there? All right. Well, I think we've had a really great tutorial on this. Thank you both so much
Thank you.
for your time today. We're really excited to be partnered with the both of you, and I know that our members are going to get a lot of benefit out of this service. So everyone, again, please reach out to John and Mike if you have any shipping questions, and also to get set up. If you need a copy of that contract summary with our contact information, just ping us and we'll get that over to you. So without further ado, thank you again, and we look forward to serving you and working with you on this contract.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks again for setting it up. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Yo, bye.
Take care.